sometimes as you're running your Flutter apps, you might run into some real nasty bugs that you can't really solve using the normal debugging with breakpoints, call stack, and just maybe print statements. But thankfully, Flutter has a whole set of developer tools to try to help you figure out what that problem is. Now, you can access them in VS Code by pressing Command or Control-Shift-P and then open DevTools. If you type it out, they can show you all the different DevTools that you have. Now we're going to go over 3 problems that might be easy to spot if this code wasn't demo code, but if you have a problem like this in a real application, it might not be so easy. So this is the first problem. You see we have an overflow. There's the second problem that you might not notice, but there is a problem there. And this one as well, you might not notice from the video, but it's running a little slow. So you see, when we go back to this first screen, you already have a problem. It says the render flex overflowed by 680 pixels on the right. So we have a layout problem. Click this button that says Inspect Widget. Now if we click it, let's increase this. This is a developer tool called the Widget Inspector. Now the Widget Inspector gives you your whole widget tree of the application, and specifically the issue section. So this is where we're struggling with. This is the problem section. And we'll see it's a row with an image, and to the right of the image is a padding. And both of them have a problem with the width being unconstrained. Now, how do we fix that? We can set their flex value maybe to 1 here. We see that doesn't fully fix the problem. It's still an overflow over there. So we can do that to the padding. Set it to 1. And they both have a flex of 1, which means they take up half of the screen. And see, our Flutter code is fixed. The UI looks right. This is how we want it to look. And we don't see that error anymore. But this doesn't actually update our code. If we reload it, we'll see the error is still there. So once you figure out the error, and let's go back into that row. Once you figure out that error, we saw that this was a flex problem here, and then flex over there. And set that to flex 1. We want to be able to fix this in our code as well. So just to kind of showcase what flex is, this is saying it's taking a 1-to-1 ratio to fit this within the screen. If we set the padding to maybe like a 3-to-1, we'll see it takes up most of that ratio of the screen. But we know what the problem is. It means it's expanding this way too much. We can fix it within our code now by wrapping this in a widget called expanded. So expanded just sets the flex to 1, and then we also want to do the same thing here. Expanded, and we can save it and now reload it, and you see our problems are gone. So that's the first dev tool and what it does. Now let's scroll over to the second one. This one can be a little harder to spot, and you might not actually notice it, but there is a problem here. For this dev tool, we're going to open a dev tool called, I believe it's performance. Yes. So you shouldn't really be doing this with a debug session. You should be doing this with a real mode, but just for this demo, we're going to be fine with the debug session. So what do you get here? Well, you can track performance of your application. We can actually bring up this screen, and you'll see we have this little performance spike. There we go. There was the performance spike. There we go. And then we can actually pause that and then go back to that performance spike that we saw. If we click on here, no analysis data available for this frame. So we need to be able to track it using more detail. We'll click this, track widget builds. Let's just do all of them. Now this obviously will make your app run slower, but we're okay with that because we want to figure out what's going on here. Oh, we saw it there. Okay. Let's go to the very last one over here. Now, if we click into that, select a frame to see more details. So we have an analysis. We see that there's a jank detected. What jank means that you had a slow rendering of that specific frame. Now, if we go into this section, we can actually see what was causing that problem frame.